I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be how to re-attract women you previously blew off. Maybe it was several months ago, 6 months ago, or longer. Maybe you were dating a girl, or you got back and you were dating this particular girl for a little bit while, and then your ex-girlfriend or whatever came back into the picture, and you ended up getting back together with her. And then months later, 6 months later, you realize that it's just simply not going to work out with the ex-girlfriend, and then you break up and you move on. So how do you go about reestablishing contact? I've got an email here from a guy who's in that very situation. What a coinky-dink. He says, I was the one who wrote you about my ex, the Myth of the One article. I followed all of your guidelines, and my ex came back to me. She begged me to meet her. We spoke, and we reconnected. Everything was flawless, but again, it all faltered this past weekend. And I've come to the conclusion that she's a great infatuation or reconnection stage girlfriend. When the reality of our imperfection hits, she can't handle it. Her level of tolerance is too low, so I told her I'm moving on. And it's like I was talking about in a video that I did earlier today. A lot of guys that are applying the stuff that I teach, they're simply dating a woman on a scale of 1 to 10. She might only be like a 6 or a 7. And so you can fake it for a few months. You can really fake interest and make her feel that you love and you appreciate her and you're really into her. But at the end of the day, if you're dating a chick that's only a 6 or a 7 on your personal scale of 1 to 10, you're just, at some point, you're not going to put your best foot forward, and you're going to get tired of her, you're going to get bored with her, because you simply want a better girl who's better suited to you, a girl who's got less drama, a woman who you have a lot of things in common with, the kind of woman that when you look in her eyes, you just like, yeah! I mean, you just fucking feel it. I mean, you know it, you feel it in your heart. It's like every fiber of your being, it's like every cell of your body lights up, and inside it just, yes, she's exactly what I've been looking for. And when those moments happen, those are the kind of women that you want to be dating that are on a scale of 1 to 10, that they're a 10 or a 12 in your book. Because if you're only dating a 6 or a 7, you're basically just kind of dating average kind of women, and they're never really going to fulfill you in the way that you deserve to be fulfilled. So good for you, the fact that you've realized that she's just not pushing your buttons and not doing it for you, and having the balls to realize it's better to stay single until you find somebody that you're really into. He says, now here's the problem. I had just met this woman the night before I got back with my ex. This new girl was crazy about me, and I had to blow her off to get back to my ex. This was back in February, and it's now July, and I'm thinking about calling her again and use the following approach. Listen, I've been on vacation for the past 5 months, just kidding. I was talking to this girl before I met you, and it didn't seem like anything, but as we started talking, it became serious with her. It didn't work out, and I didn't want to lead you on because I'm not that kind of guy. You're an interesting girl, and I'd like to get to know you and take you out this time. What do you think, Corey? How would you handle this situation? I'd love to know your take on this. And this is why don't make up a bullshit excuse when you contact her. Just reach out to her in a text, and just say, hey, this is Tom, this is Bob, this is George, whatever your name happens to be. Just say, hey, this is Bob. I know we haven't talked in a long while, and the reason, or I would call her up, actually. If you guys have talked on the phone, just call her up and say, hey, I haven't talked to you in a long while, and I got to be honest, the reason that we haven't talked in a long time is I actually got back to, literally the night after we met, I ran into my ex-girlfriend, and we rekindled things, and we stayed together, but now, we've since split up, and I know she's not the right girl for me, and I had to be certain. And so the reason I was getting in touch with you, I was hoping we could meet up for a drink. When are you free over the next week? And just be direct and to the point, just like that. That's all I would say. And if she's available and she's single and she's still into you and she still would like to hook up with you, she'll be open to it. But that's just one possibility with this particular girl. And what you really need to be doing is you need to be taking the stuff that I teach and applying it with other women so you can start dating 2 or 3 other women. Because when you date enough women, when you call enough women, you make definite dates with them, you go out on definite dates, you seduce them, you make love to them, you have a great time with them, it builds your skill with women. It builds your skills of seduction. And also, this is really important, it builds your emotional strength. And you're going to need that because when you're used to dating women that are 6s or 7s, tops, and then you start dating a woman that's a 10 or a 12 in your book, and if you haven't had enough experience by dating enough different women and practicing the things I talk about, it's going to be very hard for you to do more things right than wrong with a girl who's a 10 or a 12. And the more things you do wrong, obviously you're going to send her interest level and her level of attraction for you in the wrong direction. And so by dating a lot of women, becoming experienced and practicing these skills over and over and over again, it's kind of like spring training. Like right now we're at the time of the year where in a week, the NFL is going to get together and everybody's going to be starting camp, because 2 weeks after that they're going to start having their first preseason games. And so you should look at it that way, because that's where you develop your skills and you get ready for the season. You get ready for the NFL. You get ready for the big game. You get ready for the type of girl that knocks your fucking socks off. Because if you don't practice enough and you don't date enough women and you only hang out with 1 or 2 girls, your skills are not going to be where they need to be in order to attract a chick that's a 10 or a 12. And not only that, not only attract her, but keep her attracted. Because you start dating a woman like that, and as your interest goes up and you start to fall for her, it gets harder and harder and harder to do the right things. But if you spend a lot of time dating lots of different women and you've gone through the process of seduction several times with several different women, you'll know the process. And then you can just fall back on your experience and do what's right. And that way you will have built enough emotional strength to ignore those needy, weak, insecure feelings that we all have that are deep down, but they get magnified the more you're into a woman. Because when you really like a girl and you really care for her, you want it to work out. But if you're not ready, you can be totally overwhelmed by the emotions and the feelings that you feel for a woman like this, and it'll cause you to make unnecessary mistakes. So what I want you to do is I want you to get prepared for the super awesome girl by dating lots of different women. And when you're dating lots of different women, you're getting phone numbers, you're going out on dates, and then say you got 3 or 4 different girls that you're dating, and you meet a chick that's a total 10 or a 12, it'll be a lot easier to do things right, because you got lots of other women, because you're going to be in a non-hungry state, because even if you screw up with her, like, who cares? You still got 3 or 4 women that you're dating. But if you do everything right, because you've practiced, what'll happen is over time, you'll just simply, these other girls that are maybe a 6 or a 7 that you're dating, they'll start to kind of fall by the wayside, and you'll just start spending more and more time with the girl that's a 10 or a 12, and you'll be able to do everything right to the point where she falls in love with you and then wants to make you her boyfriend and be in a relationship with you. So if you have a question that you want to ask me, or there's a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which is going to be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max detailing your questions, your situation, your challenges. And you just got to give me several days to get back to you with a response, because I get a lot of email from the internet. And I also get a lot of it from my paying phone coaching customers. But be patient, and I will get back to you. And if you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which is going to be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, you don't have to have a Kindle to read it. All you have to do is underneath the email sign-up box on my website, there's a box that has a link that will take you to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. And on that page, there is a button on the right-hand side that will enable you to download a Kindle e-reader app, which is totally free. And that they have those for iPhones, they have them for Android smartphones, they have them for tablet devices, PC, for Mac devices, and so just download whatever app is appropriate to your device. And it only takes seconds to do that, and once you've got the app in place, then it's a matter of seconds to download my book, and then that way you can be reading my book in no time. And I will talk to you soon.